Good evening and welcome to KOW TV News. This is Africa Focus, and here are the news making headlines. Nigeria rejects new US claims over religious freedom. Somalia's electronic visa rollout triggers political debate, and the Horn of Africa's livestock trade reaches record highs. Nigeria's government has rejected a decision by the United States to list it among countries accused of violating religious freedoms, describing the move as based on faulty data and misinformation.
The USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns are blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians.
Information Minister Mohammed Idris said recent statements by US President Donald Trump, including the threat of possible military actions, were unwarranted and did not reflect Nigeria's reality.
Recent external claims suggesting systemic religious persecution in Nigeria are unfounded. The recent designation of Nigeria as country of particular concern based on speculations of religious persecution is fundamentally misinformed.
He explained that the country's main security challenges stems from terrorism, not religious persecutions, and that violence affects citizens of all faiths. Defense official says Nigeria faces extremist threats in parts of the north and northeast, and efforts to restore stability are ongoing. The government adds that since President Bola Tinubu took office in May 2023, more than 13,000 militants have been eliminated, over 17,000 suspects arrested, and thousands of hostages rescued. Minister Idris reaffirmed that Nigeria remains open to cooperations with international partners, including the United States, as long as its sovereignty and territorial integrity are respected. He said Nigeria is home to over 200 ethnic groups and diverse faiths that have coexisted for decades, emphasizing that isolated acts of violence should not define the entire nation. China has meanwhile voiced support for Nigeria's position, saying it opposes external interference and encourages dialogue over confrontation. Somalia's new electronic visa system has taken effect, but the rollout has sparked immediate backlash. The federal government in Mogadishu says under the new system, travelers must apply online before departure. Puntland has rejected the rollout as unilateral and lacking proper consultations, while authorities in Hargeisa stress that Somaliland is not part of the Federal Republic of Somalia, having declared independence in 1991 and operating its own government immigration and visa regime. Somaliland continues to issue its own visas and visa on arrival permits, which it considers the only valid document for entry into its airports and border points. Officials in Hargeisa accuse Mogadishu of using the federal e-visa policy as a political tool to isolate Somaliland internationally. The Somaliland government says it is taking diplomatic and administrative measures to counter what it calls interference, reaffirming that it will continue engaging the world independently. Somaliland's Minister of Civil Aviation Fuad Ahmed has reiterated that the country remains committed to open travel, trade and regional cooperations under its own sovereign framework. Analysts say the dispute once again exposes the fragile balance between Somalia's federal ambitions and Somaliland's continued quest for international recognition as an independent state. Now, onto the economic front. Somalia's livestock exports are projected to reach a record $1 billion by the end of 2025, a milestone that would mark the country's strongest performance in recent history. The Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries says sustained demand by Gulf market and new infrastructure investment have driven the sector's expansions. International programs funded by the European Union and World Bank have supported water management, animal health services, commodities and trade logistics. Trade data shows Middle Eastern countries imported over $2 billion worth of sheep and goats in 2024, with Somalia supplying an increasing share. Now, officials says that these gains reflect the resilience of Somali producers who have adapted to market and climate challenges through innovation and improved production methods. Analysts believe the livestock industry could become a model for other traditional sectors, demonstrating how regional economies can thrive through modernization and stability. The government says the next focus will be ensuring that export revenues benefit rural communities that depend on livestock for their livelihoods. Now that's the latest from Africa Focus right here on KOW TV. From Nigeria's diplomatic response to US criticism to Somalia's policy shifts and economic progress, Africa's political development stories continue to evolve on the global stage. My name is Maurice Mbugua and thank you for watching.